Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you want to be. Step 4.
Hey guys, welcome back, welcome to my channel. So for today's video, as you can tell by the title and the pile of books over there, I'm going to be going through my February TBR. Now for a 28-day month, I am being very optimistic and I am hoping to read quite a bit. So the first book I have is Heroes by Stephen Fry, which is an audiobook. I wanted to listen to that one this month, but I haven't got around to it yet. So yeah, that's going to be probably one of the first books that I listen to in the month of February. But let's go into my physical ones. So first one I have is Annie Hazelwood's Love on the Brain. So I read The Love Hypothesis and I did quite enjoy The Love Hypothesis. I wouldn't say it's like favourite, but I did enjoy it. So I'm going to read this one. A lot of people said it is quite like The Love Hypothesis, so I'm going to give it a go and see how we get on. But yeah, so this one is, oh, I don't know how I'm going to say that name, B. Kongzinswa lives by a simple code. What would Marie Curie do? If NASA offered her the lead on a neuroengineering project, a literal dream come true, Marie would accept without hesitation. Duh. But the mother of modern physics never had to co-lead with Levi Ward. Sure, Levi is attractive in a tall, dark and piercing-eyes kind of way, but Levi made his feelings towards B very clear in grad school. Arch enemies work best employed in their own galaxies far, far away. When her equipment starts to go missing and the staff ignoring her, Beaker's where she sees Levi softening into an ally, back in her place, seconding her ideas, devouring her with those eyes, the possibilities that all have her neurons firing. But when it comes to time to actually make a move and put her heart on the line, there's only one question: what matters? What will B do? So yeah, I'm really interested to read this one. And I got really lucky. I got this one second hand at a charity shop after not long of it being released, so that makes me even more eager to read it, if that makes any sense. Any book lovers out there will understand that one, so yeah. These next two books are by Paulo Coelho, which is Manuscript found in Accra and Breda. So I was very fortunate with this one. I got sent this one by Tatiana. So thank you so much to Tatiana that sent me this book. But yeah, so this one is In Breda, my third novel, which I wrote just after The Alchemist. I tell the story of a young woman who dives into sorcery and her experiences with different magical traditions. I explore many themes that are dear to me, such as Great Mother, pagan religions, and the perception of love. This is the spellbinding tale of Breda, a beautiful young Irish woman and her quest for knowledge. On her journey, she meets a wise man who teaches her about overcoming her fears, and a woman who teaches her ancient rituals. They see in her a gift, but must let Breda make her own voyage of discovery. So I really enjoyed The Alchemist. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I loved the story and stuff. So, and sort of all the underlying stories and the discovery of the characters and that. So I'm really intrigued to see how this one's going to go and if I'm going to enjoy this one too. And then obviously, like I said, the other one is Manuscript found in Accra, which I actually got for Christmas recently. I think my nan got it for me, so thank you to my nan. I got a lot of books for my birthday and Christmas last year, so I'm well and truly sorted. So this one says, after lying undiscovered for over 700 years, a manuscript holding the answer to a city's final questions is on the earth. Centuries before, on the eve of the invasion of Accra, the citizens gathered. A man stood before them and invited the people to share their fears, that he might offer hope and comfort. His extraordinary insight on courage, solitude, loyalty, and loss were transcribed and passed on. A timeless and powerful exploration of personal growth, everyday wisdom, and joy. So yeah, I'm interested to read this one too. So again, I just love the stories with like discovery is like a focus for the characters and characters finding themselves. So I'm really interested, and I quite enjoy Paulo Coelho's writing as well. So that also adds to it. Then I got this nice fun red-edged edition of The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I know in some countries, I believe it's called The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn I believe over here in the UK it's just obviously the 7 deaths. So yeah. This one says, a party thrown by her parents, Evelyn Hardcastle, will be killed again. She's been murdered hundreds of times, and each day Aidan Bishop is too late to save her. The only way to break this cycle is to identify Evelyn's killer. But every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes in the body of a different guest, and someone is desperate to stop him ever escaping Blackheath. So I'm really intrigued by this one. So this seems like quite a mystery. I wouldn't say thriller, don't think. But yeah, so I'm really intrigued by this one. The fact that the character wakes up every day in a different person's body and see a different perspective of what happened on the day of Evelyn Hardcastle's death is really intriguing to me. I'm intrigued to see how it's written as well, and if how Stuart Dawson's writing sort of portrays across it being someone else's perspective, but it being Aidan in that person's body. So I'm intrigued to see and to find out what happens, obviously. So the next one, nice another short one, is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Again, I think I was lucky I got sent this one by Renee at Mystic Forest Crafts, so thank you to her. I think she sent this to me, as like a Secret Santa random act of kindness, so that was really nice of her. So I'm really intrigued to read this one. I really want to get into T. Kingfisher's writing and her books, because I've heard a lot of good things about them. So this is this one, a gripping and atmospheric retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's classic The Fall of the House of Usher. I haven't read that book, so it'll be interesting to see if this might encourage me to read that one too. When Alex Easton, a retired soldier, receives word that their childhood friend Madeline Usher is dying, they race to the ancestral home of the Ushers in the remote countryside of Britannia. What they find there is a nightmare of fungal growths and possessed wildlife surrounding a dark, pulsing lake. Madeline sleepwalks and speaks in strange voices at night, and her brother Roderick is consumed with the mysterious malady of the nerves. Aided by a redoubtable British mycologist and a baffled American doctor, Alex must unravel the secrets of the House of Usher before it consumes them all. So I'm really intrigued. I love the cover as well. The cover is just beautiful. So yeah, I can't wait to read that one. I'm really excited for my reading month for February. I got some good books. The next two are obviously Coelho books. So I'm going to be rereading It Ends With Us. So I have already read this one before, but I want to reread it before I read It Starts With Us. Only because it's been a while since I've read this one. So I want to refresh my memory before I go straight into the next one, and obviously if everything happens. So I'll read the back of this one, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, because I know this one obviously continues on from this one. So sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she fills a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kinsad, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, and maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily, but Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts about Liz Corrigan, her first love, and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. So I'm really looking forward to rereading this one again. Like I said, I did really enjoy this one, and I'm intrigued to see where the story continues with It Starts With Us. So yeah, those two are also on my list. Next, this is I think the biggest book I've got read for February. I've tried to keep them fairly average sized or smaller, being the smaller, shorter month. And that is Mariana Zapata's The Wall of Winnipeg. I'm so excited to get into Mariana Zapata. I've heard she is the queen of slow burns. I'm really intrigued to see what I think of this one, and I think From what I've heard, this is the best one to probably get started to with her, but obviously let me know. I do obviously want to get some more of her books and eventually read them all and read all the backlog of her books and stuff, so yeah. But this is this one. Vanessa Major knows she's doing the right thing. She shouldn't feel bad for quitting. Be an assistant housekeeper, fairy godmother to the top defensive end in the National Football Organisation was always supposed to be temporary. She has plans and none of them include washing extra large underwear longer than necessary. But when Aidan Graves shows up at her door wanting her to come back, she's beyond shocked. For 2 years, the man known as the Wall of Winnipeg couldn't even find it in him to tell her good morning or congratulate her on her birthday. Now he's asking for the unthinkable. What do you say to the man who's used to getting everything he wants? So, I'm so interested to read this one. It's a thick one. We're looking at about 600 plus pages. So, 665. So, this is going to be interesting. And obviously it's slow burn as well. So, it's going to be intriguing to see if I get on with Mariana's writing or if I don't, but yeah, hopefully I do. And like I said, I want to read more of her works and I keep hearing so many good things, so that one is also on my list. The next one is one that I've been looking at for a while that I wanted to read, and then I got it in the subscription books that I get, so technically these next two I got in subscription boxes, but this one I was looking at before, which is The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. So this one really intrigues me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the back of it first and then I'll sort of discuss a bit more. In 1974, two teenagers from opposite sides of a divided Cyprus meet at a tavern in the city they both call home. The tavern is the only place that Kostas, who is Greek, and Defne, who is Turkish, can meet in secret, hidden beneath the leaves of a fig tree growing through the roof of a tavern. This tree will witness the hushed, happy meetings and will be there when the war breaks out and the teenagers vanish. Decades later, in North London, 16-year-old Ada has never visited the island where her parents were born. She seeks to untangle years of family silence, but only connection she has the land of her ancestors, is a fig tree growing in the back garden of their home. So, I'm really intrigued with this one. It seems like there's a bit of like a forbidden romance in there, obviously with family, with like history and stuff, so I'm really intrigued to see what this one is. I'm just, like I said, I was literally looking at this one before and then it came in the box and I was just like, this is a sign that I have to read this book, so I'm going to get to this one in February. The next one I also got in the subscription box, which is Early Morning Rises by Catherine Heine. Now I haven't heard anything of this book before. I got it in the box, so, and I've not read anything by her, I don't think so. But yeah, so this is what this one's about. Duncan is charming, handsome, and Jane falls in love with him easily, but he has also slept with nearly every woman in Boyne City. Jane sees Duncan's old girlfriends everywhere, at restaurants, at the grocery store, and his ex-wife Aggie still has him with her lawn. But everything changes with one tragic accident. Now her life is permanently entwined with them all, and she knows she will never have Duncan to herself. But is it possible that a deeper kind of happiness is right in front of her eyes? So I'm really intrigued when I saw this one and read the back of this one by like the storyline, like, and like how it's gonna go. Like, I'm really intrigued to see what this big like accident is that entwines them all. But yeah, really intrigued. So on to the next part of books that we have. Let's get them down. So this next one I've seen around a lot, heard a lot, haven't got around to reading it yet, and that is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. So I think this is a non-fiction. I'm going to try this year and read at least one non-fiction book a month, if I can, two, because I think it's just nice to like change it up and just get like refreshers and in between reading a fiction book. So I'm intrigued to read this one. What I can tell is literally just Dolly's perspective of love and relationships through time and through different ages and that, so I'm intrigued to see what this one's going to be like. So there is that one too. This next one, again, I got in this description box, which is Love in Colour by Bolu, Babalola. I hope I said her name right. I hadn't heard anything about this book before. So this one is a high-born Nigerian goddess feels beaten down and unappreciated by her gracious lover and longs to be truly seen. A crime lord finds herself swept up in a love that could threaten the entire dynasty she has built and those she protects within it. A powerful Ghanaian, I really can't speak and pronounce things, spokeswoman is forced to decide whether to uphold her family's politics or to be true to her heart. Whether captured in the passion of love at first sight or the fulfillment that comes with self-love, the characters in Babalola's vibrant stories face up to and navigate this most complex human emotion and try to capture its intangible essence. Babalola creates new stories inspired by the widely beautiful and astonishingly diverse tales of romance and desire that already exist in so many communities and culture. So, I'm intrigued to see what this one's going to be all about, and by the sounds of it, it's got like 3 different perspectives and stories. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see how this one's going to go. Another one about love. This next one I've seen a lot about, and I haven't got to read it yet, and it's going to fulfill one of my prompts, which I'm doing for the reading challenge, which is the Pop Sugar 23 reading challenge, which is to have a rabbit on the cover, and that will be Bunny by Mona Awad. I have seen so much about this book and so many people love it, and I haven't read it yet, and I definitely prefer this orange cover. But this is Samantha Heather Mackey is an outsider in her small, highly selective MFA program at Warren University. In fact, she's utterly repelled by the rest of her fiction writing cohort. A clique of unbearably twee rich girls who call each other Bunny, but then the bunnies issue her with an invitation, and Samantha finds herself inexplicably drawn to their front door, across the threshold and down the rabbit hole. Blending sharp satire with fairy tale horror, Bunny is a spellbinding joke of a novel from one of fiction's most original voices. So I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen and to see if this book lives up to the hype that I've heard about it. So yeah, that one is also on my list. My books are piling up here. Hopefully they don't fall. Because if they fall, then landed on me. The next one I'm reading is another like mystery thriller one. It's The Dartmoor Murders by Stephanie Austen. I hadn't heard much about this one. This is like a 4th book in the Devon Mysteries series, but I'm pretty sure I should be able to read it on a standalone. But yeah, so this one is when Juno Brown purchases a wardrobe to stock in her fledgling antique store. She doesn't expect to find a dead body inside, and when the man she bought it from is found battered to death in his blazing cottage, the hunt for a double murder is on. But this time Juno is resolved to ignore her impulse to investigate. Until days, a stranger arrives who bears an uncanny resemblance to the dead man in the wardrobe. Determined to discover how his identical twin brother died and impressed by Juno's reputation as Ashburton's amateur sleuth, Henry Gillow tries to drag her into his quest to solve the mystery, with disastrous results. So, I'm intrigued to know. I'm intrigued to see what is going to happen, and I need a bit of a mystery thriller with all this sort of romance books that I've got going on, even though February is technically the month for love and romance, but hey ho. The next 4 books, I am hoping to get the other book, so this will be the Cruel Prince series, is what I would like to read as well. This is the next lot, along with How the King of Elfhame Learn to Hate Stories, and I do want to get Stolen Heir so that I can read them all this month, because I've been holding out on reading the series since I knew that was coming out. Stolen Heir was coming out, so I haven't read it yet. There is so much hype around this series. I am intrigued to see if it's worth the hype, is what I'm trying to say. So this one says, of course I want to be like them. They're beautiful as blades forged in some divine fire, and Carden is even more beautiful than the rest. I hate him so much that sometimes when I look at him I can hardly breathe. One terrible morning, Jude and her sisters see their parents murdered in front of them. The fearsome assassins abduct all three girls and bring them to the world of their own. Mulched and tormented for being merely mortal, Jude soon realises that to survive in the treacherous, dangerous world of royal court, she needs to be as cunning and deceitful as the Fate themselves. But the stairway to power is fraught with shadows and betrayal, and looming over all the arrogant and charismatic Prince Carden. So I'm intrigued. Like I said, I want to see if this series lives up to the hype that is so massive at the moment, especially with Oyster and Air coming out. So yeah, I will be reading that. That's like, I've technically 2 series this month, but that's like my main series that I want to read this month. So yeah, the last 2 books. The first one to read is Run Rose Run by Dolly Parton and James Patterson. So I've read some James Patterson books before. His writing intrigues me, and I'm intrigued to see how Dolly Parton comes into this as well, and her sort of writing into it. But yeah, I'm intrigued, really intrigued to see what, you know, this book's about, because I haven't actually heard much about it. This is actually all I know is find a future, lose the past. She's a star on the rise, singing about hard life behind her. She's also on the run. Nashville is where she comes to claim her destiny. It's also where the darkness she fled might find her and destroy her. So I'm intrigued to see what this is going to be about and what's going to happen. So that is also on my list this month. And then the last book on my list for February, which is another non-fiction, but I've been wanting to read it since it came out, and since literally it's been blew up everywhere, and that is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I'm so intrigued to listen and read her story, and you know what she went through as a child and as a child actor, and you know growing up with such a narcissist mother, an abusive parent. So I'm intrigued to read her story, and I do know that it is very sensitive. There is a lot of trigger warnings to it. She does talk very bluntly and very honestly, which, you know, I appreciate that. Like, it takes a lot of guts to really talk about your story and to put it so honestly and so brutally honest. I mean, the title literally is so brutal, but it's so honest for her, and I'm really intrigued to see and to read her story. So yeah, that is all the books that I want to read this month. You can see I'm surrounded by them. This is my little, I'm surrounded by the books. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do let me know down in the comments what you plan on reading for the month of February. It's because we're still in February. Let me know what you plan on reading for February. And yeah, I will catch you guys in my next video. Don't forget to keep smiling, be kind, keep reading. Bye guys.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.